tank blitzers and hopefully a few future mom rads. I'm Littlefinger, and today I'm sharing a little more knowledge with you. This time I am talking about the Panzer II-G, which is a Tier 3 German light tank. You can see it here in the 2016 winter background. Let's take a look here at the settings, characteristics on the tank, and what jumps out obviously is the maneuverability. Hit points at 360. Hull armor at the front is very good at 30. Sides and rear not so good at 2014. This tank is quite fast there at 65 kilometers per hour and comes in at a weight of 10.8 tons with a horsepower of 185. It's not quite the fastest tank in the tier for light tanks, but it is almost there. So anyway, you will need to use that to your advantage. So you can see here with the Tier 5 gun, does a really nice job of 95 millimeters of penetration on the AP. That is best in class, and 110 on the APCR. No problems really with the ammo on any of these Tier 3, Tier 4 games. But the downside obviously is your armor is extremely weak, and just about every single tank out there will penetrate you. Let me just pull up the armor inspector to show you what I'm talking about. Alright guys, here's our Panzer II-G and armor inspector. You can see here I've basically got it set up against another PZ-2G. This is what you're going to be up against. Not much red on here, I'm afraid. A lot of green. You really can't angle this, so really just avoidance is your only measure of protection. You look at the turret here. We have got looks like 8 degrees of gun depression on it. Not too bad. Obviously not the best either. So again, maneuverability is your friend in this tank. Okay, looking at the tech tree here, PZ-2G at the bottom left there takes you to the Luscious Leopard VK2801 SP1C, the RU251. This is the German light line. Really fun tanks if you like speed. They all have very good penetration values, and in my opinion, one of my favorite lines to play. Taking a look at the setup on this, I am running the repair kit, the multi-purpose repair kit, and the fire extinguisher. I am running standard fuel, chocolate bar, and protective kit. If you're trying to pinch a few credits here, I would recommend just the protective kit. Has the tank already has a good bit of speed and 3% crew mastery. It helps a little bit, but it's not a huge improvement. Running 50 rounds of APCR, and you can see here the difference, 71 versus 82 on the penetration minimum value there. And then as far as equipment, running the enhanced gun lane drive, the vents, and the coated optics. Obviously rammer's not an option with the autoloader on here. Okay, a quick look at the spreadsheet here. You can see with 360 hit points, that is right in line with the rest of the Tier 3 light tanks. Armor across the board is good there. Weight is one of the lightest. And the engine horsepower is actually one of the lowest, but that doesn't really impact the top speed. As you can see there, we're just 3 kilometers per hour off of the fastest tank. Traverse speed there at 44 is actually a little bit slower, but the turret traverse speed is a little bit above, so it kind of negates itself. Shell penetration, best in class with those numbers there, so Won't have too much of an issue with any of the tier 3s and most of the tier 4 tanks that you come across. And then the downside to this tank, obviously, is the damage per shot there. It's kind of made up for a little bit with your rate of fire at 35.9. But new column added here at a request of one of my subscribers as a damage per minute. You can see it's actually below all the other tanks, most of the other tanks anyway. So aim time, it seems like Wargaming's changed their aim time calculations maybe based upon some of the stuff I'm seeing in-game versus what I've got here in this spreadsheet. This was taken from the WOT Blitz wiki page. And then the new update that just came out, 3.4, shows all of these with all of your setups. So it can change between the same tank can change based upon how you have it set up. So anyway, let's take a look at a little bit of gameplay. Alright guys, first game I've got lined up for you here is on Black Goldville. You can see I'm only one of 2 tier 3s on my team. Got a lot of guys with player accounts, which don't give much credence to them putting forth good games here. So gonna have to do a lot of carrying myself in order to make this one a win. So team does a good job pushing caves. This A20 has kind of overextended himself a little bit, but he's hanging on. So I'm going to swing around to the other side here and get a few good shots in on him. And you can see a couple other guys now have come around to the cave opening as well, and so I'm just going to be selective and make sure I get my shots. And like I was talking about with the armor on this, just complete cover is basically your only protection here. So make sure you select spots on the map where you can hide behind rocks or hills or so forth. So a tank like this, map awareness is critical to your success. You can see here this T-46 is pushed up, so I am going to focus on him because he is outlying. The rest of the other tanks can't see me if I'm behind the rocks and hills here. So just trying to avoid being spotted by as many tanks as possible. See, I'm going to back myself up against this rock here. And we'll finish him off. Now I've got a Martyr to my left, and PZ4 there gets a good shot in on me. Gonna go ahead and repair that. And the Martyr's not paying me any attention, so I'm going to go put the rock there to my right and the rock here to my left, and just pick and choose my spots. Do take a shot there. Not much I could do about that one, but I'm going to go in and get a full rack of ammo in on him. And quick game. But you can see here that I did 963 damage. That was good enough for a mastery. I was right in the middle of the thing, getting shots in on every 6 of the 7 tanks. And that's kind of how you want to play this. So in the second game here on Copperfield, I'll try to elaborate on what I mean by that. You'll see in this game, our team pushes to the right, but their team also goes to the right, so we're on the opposite side of the map from each other. And a lot of the shooting I have to do in this tank is at long distance, and with the dispersion and the accuracy of this gun at such a distance, you see I'm not getting obviously my full potential of damage on each round of shots. So my first target here is gonna be the Valentine, and you see what I do is I'll just take one set of shots and try to let the aim go back down and take another set of shots. And very fortunate there to take a bounce off of him. but we managed to finish him off. And now you can see here the BT-7's coming around, and for each shot now I'm getting about 25 damage per shot, whereas I would be at 50 to 100 if I was up close and every shot was hitting its target. And so that's kind of what I mean about being in the middle of the map, in the middle of the game, with targets around you, which makes playstyle very difficult in a tank like this, just because of the lack of armor. In my opinion, this is one of the hardest tanks at the tier to master. Thankfully I had some help there to finish off that T-82. He probably could have taken me out with just one shot. But we've got 2 targets left. Gonna go ahead and push around. Obviously the mobility in this tank is real nice. Shooting on the run, not very good. But again, this tank excels up close. Obviously not going to bounce any shots. So we finished that off with 4 kills. Just kind of a sloppy game all around, I would say. Level 2, 610 damage. Next game here is on Oasis Palms. We got a team of mostly lights and mediums, fast tanks, so in our best interest, I think, to go left here, which it looks like most everyone does. Maybe one AFK there in the back. And we are pushing around, trying to be cautious here, coming around that last corner. Still nothing. And so we're going to keep on exploring. At this point, it's quite obvious that they have gone into town. So again, I can crest this ridge and get a few shots in. I am spotted, so I will back off and relocate. With these light tanks, you never want to stay in the same spot if you've been spotted. Your armor is just not up to bouncing shots. If you do, it's more of luck than anything else. So they're pushing through town at the moment, so I am going to try to come to the edge of town here and get some shots across town. Just trying to keep awareness of where everyone is so that I don't get circled. That SU, just sitting out in the open there. No protection, nowhere to go and hide. So I like to stress here, guys, when you're playing these tanks, make sure you've got some hard cover around you at all times. Use that in your decision making when you're driving on around the map. Obviously, you can't do it all the time. So I'm going to switch over to APCR here. Want to make sure every shot counts. Well, on the M3, I'm pushing through. Going to go take a few shots and someone else gets them for me. And here comes the Hetzer. He's seen me. Now I'm in trouble. He took a nice angle around the building there, and I got myself stuck a little bit. So I'm going to do a 180 on him and just try to stay to his side as best as possible. This does cost me a little bit of money because I was on APCR. I wanted each one of those shots to count, and I didn't really have time to switch back to AP when I got him on the side. My platoon mate gets taken out there. Just a little bit overexposed, really. So I've got 2 down in the valley, and I know I've got help coming from the other side, so I'm actually playing this a little cautious, just waiting for my help. They've seen him. They're backing up. Unfortunately, that last shot does not go into that T-46, and he stays alive. My help took forever to get there. I don't know what he was doing. I think he gets called out later in this game just for not playing very well. So really just me and this T-46, and I get him down to 2 shots. And somehow I miss. I only get 1 shot in there on that last reload, so managed to get the reload and the kill in there. And you can see M2 medium, he's still not in the picture. Not much help. But again, nimble tank, moves around well. 785 damage there. 3 kills. Let's take a look at one more. So this will be the last game. Dead Rail. I've shown you some different maps this time. Tried to focus on the tier 4 games as well, just so you can see what you're up against in the upper tier games. So I'm gonna head right, try to get some spots in from my team. Primary, role of a light tank is for spotting and causing chaos, a little confusion. Really, in my opinion, in a light tank, you're not really expected to do a high amount of damage. Kind of just a distraction. So you can see here, me and the BT have come across this PZ 3A by himself, and I get some good damage in him, but I relocate myself so that he can't shoot me. And sometimes conserving hit points is better than sticking it out trying to get the kill. Now I'm going to focus on this Hetzer, obviously at tier 4 with the big gun. The Hetzer is one of the most formidable tanks out there. You don't want to be face to face with a Hetzer with that sloped armor. It's hard to penetrate, so I'm doing my darnest to get him out of the game, more so than some of those other tanks over there. And especially since he's showing me his backside. I'm going to switch over to AP because I figure he's going to turn. I'm going to be faced up with that armor. And managed to get the last shots in there for the kill. So going to cost me a little bit of money there, but I stayed alive, and our team has done a good job. We are 4 on 3 at this point. You can see here, short amount of distance to get up to full speed, do 30 damage, ram him, and finish him off there. 1 guy left, team takes him out. Tank is very maneuverable. Use that to your advantage. Relocate, map awareness, critical. Overall, a very difficult tank to carry in, but stick with it because the other light tanks are extremely fun to play and highly worth the grind up that line. So I'm going to wrap this video up. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure you have fun out there, guys. It's just a game. Stay safe, get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.